Welcome to the Chaunty Show. And today I have here with me Heidi Rhodes, and I also have Ronnie Marmo.
That's me.
All right. So, where are we located?
Well, right now we are in the building of what is going to be the new Theater 68 in North Hollywood, on Magnolia, and almost at the corner of Vineland. It's considered the theater row of North Hollywood.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So this is the new home to Studio 68.
Theater 68.
Theater 68.
You can call it Studio 68, but you might not find it.
Yeah.
But call it whatever you want, you know.
All right. So Heidi, how did you become interested in the industry?
In acting altogether.
Yes.
You know, when I was about 5, the babysitters in my neighborhood had a Cinderella. They got all the kids together to do Cinderella, and I got the title role, and the bug hit me then.
You played Cinderella?
I did.
The casting's shaky. I don't know if I would have went that way.
I loved it, and I became a dancer and a singer, and then eventually I'm an actor.
I was up to that part, Cinderella, but they wanted to go.
They wanted to go more feminine.
I read for it. My agent said I did great in the room. I was 5 and I wasn't ready.
Why do you think theater is important to actors in their craft?
Oh, I think you should answer that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I don't have a microphone, so thank you.
I can hear you.
They could hear me in Cleveland right now. Why is acting important? Theater actors important for the craft? Because I just think theater is its own thing, its own animal, and I feel like you don't have the luxury of stopping and doing it over. You know, there's a rehearsal process that goes on for weeks or months. So I just feel like a lot of times, if you don't have the proper amount of rehearsal in film and television, in theater you can really dig into characters, and I just feel like work on it more than you would be able to. And then performance nights, you have to just kind of keep rolling no matter what comes up. Live theater, it's not like cut, let's do it again. So I think it's really important because I think if you have a theater foundation, a background, everything else is a bit easier if you're good at theater.
Especially improv, right?
Yeah, because something always happens on stage, almost always, that you don't expect. So the training you get from having to keep it going and stay in character, the training you build from having that time to create a character, and being able to really think and research, and it's tremendous. And also I think another thing that's great about theater is you have to be very big. You have to learn how to use your voice in a really large way to project and so forth. And once an actor knows how to be very large on a stage to project their character all the way across, or they learn how they've researched the classics, they've read, they really understand the history of their, from the Greeks back in the ancient days. Not only do we have a better understanding and a more deep and broad understanding of acting in general, but we then have enough of our personal, emotional work done that when we get on film, and it has to be very small, there's something behind that smallness. You know what I mean? Some depth.
Wow, that was heavy. That was deep.
That was very deep.
Yeah, she's deep. We're gonna have to play that back a few times to really wrap your head around it.
So pause, replay, rewind.
We'll wait.
Yes. Oh, great. So I know that you've been in DJ Stand a Man with Celebrity Chef and top winner of Emerald Live's Italian contest, Frankie and Bergamo. And I was just curious, what part did you play?
Well, I played the boss of DJ Stand the Man.
All right.
My name is Linda, and I'm a really balls to the wall kind of boss.
Yes.
And
I like it.
Yes, it's a very fun part to play because I got to play somebody who had a lot of power and a lot of sexuality, and she used it to get what she wanted from. And DJ Stand the Man is, he's like a really rough character that generally gets what he wants, but he has a boss that lords over him, and it's a great dynamic.
That's really
it's really
interesting. Where and when can we do this? Because I want to.
Chaunty, I don't know that it's ready yet. I think they're still in post.
Yeah, I heard they're in the editing process, but I wasn't sure if there's a date available yet.
No, but I'm pretty sure that Matt wants to finish by the end of the summer. So hopefully that'll be done.
Summer or fall, maybe.
Yeah, fall probably.
Okay, that's good. What other films have both of you appeared in?
What films have I appeared in? Can we just talk about each
He has
other?
a long resume. Okay, Ronnie has a very, very full resume. Let's see. He started out in. Remind me name of that film.
The first film I've ever done.
No,
The big film. There was a film called Deuces Wild. Yeah, it was an MGM film, and myself and Danny Sistone, who's here, had a big part in it. It was a 50s gang movie in Brooklyn. It's about 12 years ago, I guess. And since then, what have you seen? Crocodile Dundee in LA. I was in that film.
Wow.
Did an episode of Jag. I did a lot of independent films.
He also wrote and created his own film, which is beautiful. And
Thank you. It's called West of Brooklyn. And Joe Mantegna, myself, Balthazar Getty, James Matteo. A lot of people
Really
you would recognize if you saw. And then I just spent 3 years on General Hospital. Just finished that, and so
he played Ronnie Domestica with a huge fan base, and he was like the detective, good guy detective, and in the end, he gets killed off because he turned into the bad guy.
yeah, I was running around this fictitious town called Port Charles, and I was. Did I call it Port Charles? It's Port Charles. I don't know why I said Port Charles. I really want a egg roll of pork and cheese. You know, pork roll, egg and cheese. You know. Port Charles, and I went around and I ended up raping all the women and beating up strippers, and I went crazy.
It was a huge deal in the storyline.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
wow. No one expected that at all.
Yeah.
So that was fun. And so I've been very lucky, but Theater 68 is where I've spent almost 14 years of my life in LA, and then 3 years in New York trying to develop this company of artists, and where you're standing in a building under construction would be a new home.
So yeah, 3 years ago he started like a sister company in New York, right in the heart of Times Square, and that company is going really strong. And people come out here from that company, and they're part of the company, so they fit right in here. There's an exchange. It's really fun.
That's really beautiful.
Yeah, we the theater. Being 14 years in LA is unheard of.
Yeah.
And
As a theater company,
yeah.
we'll be 14 February. We'll be 14. Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's been a real big blessing.
A lot of people think theater in LA is like a dying breed. So
A lot of people do. We're trying to change that mindset, and so we're working hard on that. And we've lasted this long.
Some really, really great stuff comes out of LA. It's just, I think it's just, there's just this myth that theater is dead here, and it's really not true. We I assisted directed Ronnie in.
Would you just say you co-directed?
I didn't mean it.
Whoa!
I did not.
Wow!
mean
How
that.
quick! You give somebody a little taste, forget it. They blow up.
I was the assistant
Wow.
director.
Wow!
Because Ronnie was the full director.
I'd love to hear
No
what she
co-
says when nobody's around. She's talking like a friend in Boston. She's like, "Oh yeah, I just directed. Ronnie Marmo was the assistant. He got me lunch." I bet that's what she says. We caught her in a very private moment. That is so fantastic. Hey, Danny. I assistant directed Heidi Rhodes in a play.
I didn't say that, Danny. I didn't say that.
It slipped right out of her mouth. All right,
I
I'm very
was
humble.
Ronnie's assistant director
Great.
twice. One a world premiere.
I learned a lot from you. No, really? No, you didn't.
One was a world premiere of a play, a very funny comedy. And then the last one we just did was John Patrick Shanley's Storefront Church, which is his third play in his Church and State trilogy. The first one being Doubt, which then became a movie with Meryl Streep, etc. And he gave Ronnie that play to do the West Coast premiere to direct it, which is a huge honor. And a really great thing for Theater 68, because Shanley is such a well-known playwright, and many of his plays have been made into films.
that's really cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's cool.
I'm very lucky to know Heidi Rhodes.
Yeah.
It's becoming more clear as we sit here. Yeah, I didn't realize. I woke up this morning. I got Heidi's nice. No, it's great. I can't wait. Maybe you can allow me to assist you with
Slip of
something
the
else.
tongue.
It happens. Hey, I said Studio 68.
Yes.
I know. Oh no, we're never talking again. Don't worry. That's all right. I have a resentment, but you don't even know it.
That's probably just because I like the gate of the boss.
Well, the Boston thing's already a
sucks.
problem. No, I love Boston. Boston's a great city. It's a great city. It's a great city. The people are fabulous. It's a great walking city. I love Boston. I just don't like the Red Sox, if you can understand.
That's
Yeah,
fine. I understand that.
yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, you went as hard saying you're a Yankees fan and you're part Italian. So.
Yes.
It doesn't make me a bad person, does it?
Not that.
No, not that. Other things do.
You
But,
know,
Oh my gosh. You two are so funny. What was your favorite film to be in and why? Both of you.
Go ahead, Heidi.
Okay, so I can't do my one favorite because I have a lot of favorites for a lot of reasons. But one of my favorites was The Men Next Door, which is produced by Guest House Films. It's streaming on Netflix.
It was Triple X.
It was not Triple X.
Oh, was it that one? That was the guy next door.
Very funny.
Not men next door. Right.
It is a gay-centered romantic comedy, and I play the non-gay best friend of the gay lead. And it's a very sweet, funny film, and my character is just really big and over the top, and it was just really, really fun set, and a lot of good jokes, and towards the end I have a scene where I'm tipsy, and it was really, really a great time, you know, it was really fun. And the film has gotten a lot of great play, and people, you know, have loved it. So I liked that a lot. Ronnie?
Well, every film I've done has its place. You know, specifically if I had like a main part and I was helping, if I was part of the storytelling aspect in a bigger way. But I'd say West Brooklyn was my favorite film just because I created it from nothing. I wrote it and Danny Sistone directed it. And so because of everything that comes with that film, I'd say that was my favorite film. I don't think it was my best performance of all time or anything like that. I just think the whole experience.
Just one play one.
It just changed me as a filmmaker and as a producer, as a writer. You know, it just changed me like that. So if you're gonna make me pick one, West Brooklyn. But there are another half dozen that I feel like really stayed with me, and they were important on some level and still a part of me. You know.
Yeah.
There's one short film I did years ago in Boston. I did a lot of my independent films in Boston. That was written and directed by Chris Burke, who's a fantastic actor in Boston. And it was Bobby Wahlberg and myself. And it was really the first time I was on a bigger set. And I got to die in it, and I had to fall down over and over. And just, it was so exciting to be there with this great crew.
Did you just drop Wahlberg?
Yeah.
Whatever you gotta do. I know you're from Boston. That's you guys is like, oh, Ben Affleck.
It's from Bobby Wahlberg.
That's okay.
He's a great, great guy. He's a very, very good actor. And
And you died in the film?
yeah.
I saw you die so many nights on stage. It's amazing. Oh, you don't mean like that? Oh,
No, I don't. But I love doing theater as well. Now that he brings it up, it's extremely fun.
That's great. It's really good. What are your limits and boundaries with acting? Do you have any?
Do you mean like?
Just like.
You're taking the clothes off?
Yeah.
Would you do anything like that or no?
Oh, okay. Yeah, probably not.
For like
very much.
$5-10, that's all.
Yeah, for $10. Oh, yeah, that's different. No, I'm not. I mean, you know, a little, but it would really have to be worth my while.
Yeah, like a really good script.
Yeah.
Like worth it. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not. Yeah, that's not something I necessarily. I think. Yeah. I don't know. You?
Well, I feel like if it was appropriate to the storytelling aspect of something that I was doing and it felt really important, and possibly if it felt like it wasn't gratuitous and it was just part of the story that needed to be told, probably I would do something. But I don't, I'm yet to, I had to take my shirt off on General Hospital, which is funny because I don't see myself like a soap guy in that way. I don't like work out 9 times a week or anything like that. I try to stay in shape, but those guys are unbelievable, right? So I had to take my shirt off. And if you Google that, you'll see 2 images I'm pretty proud of, and one that's terrible, on a terrible angle.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so don't Google it. I just tell everybody to Google it. So, but you know, they paid me and they asked me to do it, and I read it in the script, and it was fresh out of the shower scene, and so I had to do it. So I remember I was freaking out because I knew for about 2 weeks. So did I need to do that? Not really, but I guess with the you know, soap operas, there's a lot of that goes on, and I couldn't believe they asked me because that's not really my thing, you know. But I certainly would probably do it if I thought it really made sense and if it was part of it. And now these Netflix shows and these HBO shows, man, it's all soft porn. It's incredible. All this stuff is soft porn now.
True Blood and stuff like
Oh
that.
yeah, True Blood. You see the you see it. Yeah, they're naked. It looks like they're having sex. I mean, there's a lot of that going on.
Yeah, it's really strange.
I don't know why I just turned into Jerry Seinfeld. Did you hear me? Some named Jerry Seinfeld.
Jerry Seinfeld.
It's hard to make him laugh. This guy. What's the matter? Like what's the matter?
I'm sure he's laughing inside.
Inside. On the way home, it's going to hit him hard.
Yeah.
On a flight back to Boston. Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Probably.
That's an interesting question being in Hollywood though, because in Boston it's a whole different animal. You know, theater and film, mostly film in Boston is very different than it is here. This Hollywood really is the land, or you know, my perception of it is it's the land of the most beautiful people. And some of them are very talented, and some of them are not particularly talented, but they're very beautiful.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's just this funny balance that happens on screen that I can't explain.
Yeah. One of those things.
You know, it has to end up being a very personal artistic journey that you want to go on here, because if you're very beautiful, you might get a part, you might not get a part. If you were, you know, the best in your high school or in your town or in your city, you come here, you might be kind of nobody. It's very undependable.
What she's saying politely is that anybody who's won prom king or prom queen in this country, somebody tells them they're talented and they send them to Hollywood, and now it's our problem. They got to be the lead in the school play because 17 people were in the high school. Yeah. And then they come here, and then there's lots of those.
Yeah.
And some of them are talented. I mean, I have a couple of good friends who are from Ohio and from and they're fantastic actors. But there's a lot of people who just want to be famous, which is a discussion that we can have another time. But there's actors, and then there's, you know, movie stars.
Yeah.
But that's a big debate that we could have all day, you know. So,
yeah.
You know.
Do you want to get into it a little bit, or no?
I do. Actors are people, in my opinion, who, you know, just love this and can't help themselves. And there's a whole thing. So it's either like, there are so many great actors on television or in films that you see and know their work but don't know their name.
Yeah.
And then there's celebrities who get a gig, the same job as the person you don't know, but then they spend all their money on a publicist and they get famous.
Yeah.
Now, not to say some great actors can't be famous, because I think DiCaprio does a great job. I think he always delivers. There's guys like that, I think Brad Pitt, you know, in that film California, and he's done some great work. So I think you can be a famous movie star, great actor as well.
Yeah.
I think within an artist, they have to ask themselves, like, what's this really about?
Yeah.
Am I trying to get famous, or do I love the art of acting and I can't help myself?
It's like a personal internal journey.
Yeah, for some people who take the time to even consider that's a possibility.
Yeah.
You know, not everybody is.
Not everybody's that deep, right?
Sure, and you know, as an actor, like even being on General Hospital for a few years, you get a little bit of fame, and certain people know you, and somebody in the what do you call it, the grocery store recognizes you. You start to go like, oh, that feels good, man. You know, maybe it's more about that, and then you have to kind of check in with yourself and go, no, it's really not. It's great, but
yeah.
I think it's something that being part of this theater company specifically has taught me, and I think most of us in the company, that it's you know, if we stay true to ourselves, and for me it's my artistic journey, my creative voice, then, and stay grounded in that, and stay, you know, close to our friends in the company, then we can maneuver the craziness and the, you know, celebrityness and the money-driven stuff that is ridiculous to Hollywood. And, you know, we don't really have that in Boston. So that's one thing that's really sweet about Boston. It's a very grounded place to train and to do work.
It is, yeah. It's very good there. What are your hobbies, to get a little off topic?
Heidi, what are your hobbies? Can't wait to hear these.
I like to dance.
You do? I don't know anything about you. I thought I knew you. I know nothing. This whole thing's been a sham.
I live near the beach, so I walk on the beach a lot. I love that. I like to be in the woods and be outside. I like to do anything that's creative, sing or write songs or do visual art.
What are my hobbies?
Yeah.
I'm a workaholic and I don't really have any. It's a shame. So I spend my days thinking about theater, reading plays, trying to provide opportunities for my theater company on both coasts. I love playing golf, but I don't get to play that often. I play like every 3 months, I'd say, once every 3 months. I'd say my biggest hobby, and I'm not just saying this because you're from Boston, is every day at 4 o'clock I go home and I watch the Yankee game.
Yep.
So I watch the Yankees for 3 hours in the afternoon, and then I usually go back out. So I'll never make a plan around the Yankee game. Although I just figured out a way to put MLB on my phone, so I could go to a meeting now and have my phone playing on my dashboard, which is very unsafe. So I would say my hobbies are watching the Yanks. I like fantasy baseball. I play fantasy. That's a hobby, right? Because I spend a lot of time on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would say that's a hobby. I like sports a lot, and I really wanted to be what I went to school for. And what I wanted to do, I wanted to be a sports broadcaster. That's actually what I wanted to do with my life. Yeah, and I went to school for it. And I used to call high school football games. Yeah, in my town, they hired me to be the football analyst. But I was so busy interviewing the Domino's guy when they walked back, they thought I was crazy. Because I would talk about the game, and then I'd bring the parents in and talk about like the wackiest stuff. I think they got nervous. They got nervous. Because I was little, I spent more time with the Domino's kids walking by. Bring the pizza in here. Who's that for? You know, that kind of stuff. But I love it. So that's my hobby.
That's good.
Hobbies are a good thing to have though here because it's very easy
To be a workaholic.
to be workaholic in Hollywood. But you know what? When I first moved here about 4.5 years ago, people would say, "Oh, you're going there. Los Angeles is full of actors. They're like rats. They're everywhere, and you can't get rid of them." And I suspended my judgment until I got here. And I have to tell you, I think it's great. Like I want to talk to actors. I want to sit at a coffee shop and watch somebody writing a screenplay on their laptop. I think the talent.
This is the environment.
It's amazing. Yeah. There's, this particular neighborhood is full of dancers, ballet, hip hop, singers. The talent in this town is unbelievable. You go out to listen to some coffee house music, and it's like one of the best singers I've ever heard.
Yeah.
It's
And if you walk in the back alley right now, you see somebody getting their headshots taken. I mean, the whole environment, it's just great like that.
Yeah,
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's really cool. It's like being in
If you want to do this,
Juilliard,
yeah.
but a big city of Juilliard. Everyone is doing something creative, the town, motivating and inspirational, and people are generally really excited to be here and to be working on their stuff, and it's cool.
Yeah, that is. What do you feel sets you apart from other actors that are out here that get you booked and such?
Oh, good question.
I don't feel anything sets me apart. I feel like if it's supposed to be mine, it'll be. And I feel like if I don't feel different people have more training, more instinctual talent, more whatever. But I think at the end of the day, maybe I'm just like a dreamer and a romantic in that way. But I believe if it's supposed to be yours, it'll be yours. And I can tell you like there's an old funny saying. Well, not everyone thinks it's funny, but I do. They say New York actors learn how to act on the street, and LA actors learn how to act by watching New York actors. Thank you. So we can use that one if we want, since I'm clearly a New York guy. But I don't really believe that I'm better or worse than anybody. I just feel like, we're just all kind of banging around doing it, and I don't think anything sets me apart because I can put 100 guys in a room right here that are exactly my casting right now, and nothing is set me apart. I would just have to be the. Sometimes just having cast, I've produced 11 films and over 50 plays, so there's an intangible sometimes when you're looking for the blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl. And so you put the call out, right? And 50 girls show up that look like that. It's like, why do you choose the one girl? Because there's something usually that's unexplainable. There's something that happens, and there's there's an invisible thread, if you will, and there's something that just happens. And so that's a funny, weird question to me because I don't know. I think this business is highly, highly dependent on relationships, and I think that there are really talented people on TV, and there are really not talented people on TV, and there's really talented people in my theater group that'll never work professionally, and it's a shame.
Yeah.
And there's really subpar people on this block that work all the time. And so, who am I to judge who's what, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like this. What's weird about our business is it's not like you go to school and you go, okay, you graduate and you get to be on CSI. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
It's a lifetime journey, you know. And so, you know, I've castings where somebody walks in and I'm like, I hope she can act a little bit because she looks exactly like they have in my mind. I hope she can act a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've done it. I've been guilty of it. So I don't have, nothing sets me apart.
Yeah.
Nothing sets me apart. It's supposed to be mine too.
Everything kind of gives off energy. I think.
Yeah, I have to take a spiritual approach because if I don't and I start thinking, then forget it. I'm gonna just destroy myself emotionally if I think that like I know how this
It
works.
was perfect for that.
Yeah, yeah.
Why don't you choose me?
I can't get it.
Yeah.
You know, the way I would answer that is the only thing that sets Ronnie apart or me apart is that Ronnie's Ronnie and I'm me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm the only one who is me.
Yeah.
There's no two set people the same way.
Yeah.
I mean, I appreciate the whole thing of find your casting, you know, like move towards what, you know, you're best cast as and kind of develop that, I get that. That's an approach to the business that works. But in the long run, he's right, it's just kind of chemistry.
Yeah, it's just something that happens, you know. And, I think one of the things that I will say professionally, one of the things that could set me apart is that, and I hope the theater company takes this identity on, and I believe they do for the most part, is anytime I have been hired, you know, I come early, I stay late, I usually bring donuts, I know my lines, I don't need anything, I don't want anything, I'm not a problem for anybody. And so I would say that would hopefully set me apart because sadly not everybody knows that. But I do, and I make sure I do because most of the work I get is back to the relationship thing I said. Most of the work I get is because of the last show. And they go, oh, just hire Ronnie. It'll be great. He'll do it. It'll be early. He'll tell a joke once in a while, but you know, he's going to be pleasant. Remember he bought 80 ice cream? Remember that day he went and came back with 80 ice cream cones? Yeah, buy it, you know. That's really to me what it's about. Because if you're talented enough to continue to work, continually to work, then it's the intangibles. People want to be with nice people. It's hard. This is hard to do. So you know what I mean?
Yeah, because in the long run, everyone on set is a person just like you, me, anybody, and they want to, you know, have a nice day.
Yeah.
And if you're going to be on set for 30, 40 days with those people, you better get along really well.
Yeah. That's a good tip, definitely. And so, is there anything that you'd like to mention special about General Hospital that you enjoyed especially, or certain aspects of it that you thought were just totally different and surprised you in some way?
Well, yeah, the fact that I don't see myself on a soap opera. Like, I've never kind of saw myself as that kind of actor. And so I was surprised when I got the job, and I was only supposed to do a handful of episodes, and I ended up doing like 150, so I was very blessed. But I was surprised that when I got there were lots of great actors who were doing this material, but were great actors, and so we were making it. So I was surprised by how good everybody was. I was surprised about how much I was able to memorize and how smart I am, because you know, in film you do 4 or 5 pages a day. It's a big day. And I was doing 40 pages a day.
Wow.
Tons of monologues. And you get it 2 days later.
You don't have the time like you do in theater.
So I was surprised at that. I was surprised that I had more of a photographic mind than I thought I did. And I was surprised that I was a peripheral character and a supporting character, and I didn't think I was all that important to the whole thing. And the fact that so many people ended up liking what I did, and so many fans have supported me outside of the genre. We have so many people come to our theater now because I was on the show. And so the amount of support I got from General Hospital fans on and off the show was surprising to me. And way more than I thought I ever deserved. And so I appreciated that in a big way. And they're still supporting us, you know. So the experience was incredible. And they were really kind to me, and I would do it again in a minute.
So nice. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
All right. And okay. I think that wraps it up.
No, actually, I wanted you to talk about the Kickstarter.
You mean the Indiegogo?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
So Theater 68, we, as you know, we're building a new home, and we put an offer in on a lease, not a buy, for this building. We never expected them to choose us because there's so many restaurants in this block, and everything's booming, and we really didn't think they would take the theater group, you know, and they did. And so now we're raising money because we were completely prepared for this. So now we're raising money, and we're trying. We're going live, I think tonight. By the time you see this, we will be live with an Indiegogo campaign, lots of great perks, and if anyone has it in their heart to donate $1 or $10, that'd be amazing. Whatever we raise, sadly will not be enough to do it, but every dollar will help. And there's cool perks, so you should check them out at theater68.com. And I guess that's really it. So, right? Do you want to say anything about it?
Hundreds and hundreds of actors have come through Theater 68 in the past 14 years, and I know a lot of them, not a fraction of them, but a lot of them, and everyone is like the coolest person, like somebody who's really kind of oriented towards the family and the community of our theater group. And the fact that Ronnie and his cohorts have been able to build this for us to kind of establish ourselves and become better people and better actors. And through the company, I have now produced a playwright. I wrote a play, produced it. Have never done that in my life. Never thought I would.
She's directed. I was her assistant. Let's not forget that big point. I assisted director. I brought her lunch every day. I got her coffee. It was fantastic.
I was honored enough to be his assistant director for 2 shifts.
Too late for that. Too late, right? It's okay. You're lucky you found us.
I directed some one-acts and a full-length show here, and the opportunities are endless for somebody who comes to this theater company. So I just want to encourage people to be a part of that with us and go on the journey with us, and help make this new theater a reality. And just so if you ever move here, you might be a part of this theater.
Did you just invite her to the theater group?
Thank you so much for watching the Chaunty show. Thank you both Heidi and Ron for being on the show. We really appreciate it. You guys have been great, very entertaining, and thank you again. See you later.